Welcome back, everyone, to the October update for the TQQQ challenge. It is Saturday morning, October 11th, 2025, and this month marks a significant moment in our journey. For the very first time since we began this challenge, our TQQQ portfolio has grown to over $11,600 in unrealized profits. This milestone was powered by a sustained market rally that began after the Golden Cross formation we saw in QQQ back on June 23. The momentum carried TQQQ to a spectacular all-time high price of $109 just yesterday, completely smashing last month's record of $97. However, the market is a fickle beast. We saw TQQQ plunge from that $109 peak all the way back down to $97 in a single trading session yesterday, following President Trump's threat to impose massive new tariffs on Chinese goods. So, let's start with where we are today. TQQQ is currently trading at approximately $97, which is remarkably similar to last month's level of $97. To give this some context, this roller coaster ride is the very nature of TQQQ. We saw it hit a previous all-time high of $93 back on December 16, 2024. From there, it plunged dramatically to just $35 on April 7. But then, TQQQ staged a historic full recovery, roaring back to a new all-time high of $96 on August 13. After a brief dip to $84 on September 2, it resumed its climb to yesterday's record high of $109. As you all know, TQQQ is a leveraged instrument that aims to track 3 times the daily performance of QQQ, so understanding the health of the NASDAQ 100 is absolutely paramount. Since April 9 of this year, we have witnessed a truly historic market comeback. Specifically, since May 12, QQQ has been consistently trading above both the SMA 50 purple line and the SMA 200 green line. For the last 5 months, QQQ has maintained a significant buffer above that critical SMA 50 purple line, reaching new all-time highs multiple times after the Golden Cross confirmed the bull trend. Now, let's go back to the QQQ chart and add the SMA 20 black line to get a better sense of the short-term picture. The SMA 20 is a faster indicator, reflecting immediate momentum, whereas the SMA 50 purple line shows the intermediate-term trend. From April 23 onward, QQQ had been riding comfortably above that SMA 20 black line. However, the market has been testing that strength recently. QQQ slipped below the SMA 24 times since the beginning of August, first in early August, a second time on August 20, a third time on September 2, and now a fourth time just yesterday, on October 10. At the same time, it's crucial to note that on September 2, QQQ found strong support and was able to rebound right near the SMA 50 purple line. Even yesterday, in aftermarket trading around 5:36 p.m., QQQ bounced perfectly at $582, which was right near that same SMA 50 purple line. We must now closely monitor whether QQQ can hold this critical line of support. If it does fall below this level, I am confident that QQQ will find its next major support and bounce back from the SMA 200 green line. These moments, when QQQ approaches the SMA 50 purple line or the SMA 200 green line, represent excellent buying opportunities for QQQ, QLD, and especially for us, TQQQ. As we discussed in our previous video, AI revolution versus internet boom, which will make you richer, I want to compare the internet revolution of the 1990s with the current AI boom of the 2020s to understand just how often these buying opportunities arise. Since QQQ was only launched in March 1999, we need to use NDX, the ticker symbol for the NASDAQ 100 index itself. As you can see here, NDX was at $404 on January 3, 1995, and it skyrocketed to $4,816 by March 24, 2000. That's a phenomenal 12-fold increase in just over 5 years. However, this journey was anything but a straight line up. During that period, from January 1995 to March 2000, the NDX experienced 23 distinct corrections of at least 5%. Out of those 23 pullbacks, 11 were corrections of at least 10%, and 2 were significant corrections of at least 20%. The first major drop happened around October 1997, when the NDX fell by approximately 22% from its peak. The second occurred in July 1998, when the NDX tumbled by about 25%. Imagine if TQQQ had existed back then. A 25% drop in NDX would have translated into a gut-wrenching 70% crash in TQQQ. Let's also look at how often the NDX approached its key moving averages during that time. In 1995, the index touched the SMA 50 purple line about 10 times and the SMA 200 green line once. In 1996, it approached the SMA 50 purple line 9 times and the SMA 200 green line twice. In 1997, it tested the SMA 50 purple line 7 times and the SMA 200 green line 5 times, even breaking below it significantly, which led to a death cross and a subsequent golden cross. In 1998, it hit the SMA 50 purple line 9 times and the SMA 200 green line 3 times. Finally, in 1999, the index pulled back to the SMA 50 purple line about 12 times but never once came close to the SMA 200 green line. So, this historical data from 1995 to 2000 tells us that we can expect roughly 7 to 12 opportunities per year to buy near the SMA 50 purple line, and anywhere from 0 to 5 opportunities to buy near the SMA 200 green line. As I mentioned in last month's video, my ideal plan was to buy TQQQ near the SMA 200 green line. However, the market has been too strong, and that opportunity never materialized. Now that QQQ is testing the SMA 50 purple line, a new window is opening. My strategy is to potentially buy a small portion near or below the SMA 50 purple line, save a medium portion for a potential dip to the SMA 200 green line, and reserve a large portion in the rare case that it falls below the SMA 200 green line. Looking at other indicators, the RSI for QQQ was at an overbought level of 70 on October 8. When QQQ's RSI hits 70, a pullback is usually imminent. After yesterday's big drop, the current RSI has cooled off to a much healthier 45. If you want a deeper dive into this, you can watch my video titled How to Predict the Stock Market. According to today's reports, the rekindling of the tariff fight is putting significant pressure on Wall Street's most popular trades. President Trump's threat has shattered the market's recent calm, causing a broad sell-off that wiped out the week's gains. This sudden return of trade war tensions has clearly rattled investors, leading to the sharpest one-day drop for the S&P 500 in months and sending tremors through a market that many believed had become immune to such disputes. This downturn is forcing traders to reconsider the risks of a prolonged trade conflict and its potential to derail the market's otherwise strong performance. On the economic front, the latest GDP Now forecast projects U.S. GDP growth for the third quarter of 2025 at a healthy 3.8%, a solid improvement from the negative 0.3% contraction in Q1 and the 3% growth in Q2. The CME FedWatch tool is now indicating that the Federal Reserve will likely cut interest rates 3 times this year. The first cut happened in September, with a second expected this month in October, and a third in December. This is an upgrade from the 2 rate cuts previously expected for 2025 and is the single biggest reason the stock market has performed so well. Meanwhile, on Poly Market, the odds of a U.S. recession in 2025 have collapsed, falling from 66% in April down to just 7% today. That is one of the lowest probabilities we have seen all year. And finally, the Fear and Greed Index has fallen significantly. From a state of extreme greed just a few weeks ago, it has plunged to a reading of only 29, which is in the lower category of fear. This suggests that TQQQ has a lot of room to climb the wall of worry over the next 3 months of 2025. Now, let's review our portfolio performance. Since last month's update, I added 1 share of TQQQ yesterday at $99. My total investment now stands at approximately $20,000. Since December 2023, my goal has been to invest about $12,000 annually. I plan to invest $4,000 more by the end of November 2025, which will bring my total capital for the 2-year period to $24,000. My plan is to deploy this capital below the SMA 50 purple line or near the SMA 200 green line. However, we must be realistic that we may not see QQQ touch the SMA 200 green line for some time. On August 1st, when QQQ dipped, I placed 2 limit orders to buy TQQQ at $78 and $80, but they were not filled, which is a good lesson in not chasing the price. My current position is 326 shares of TQQQ, with an average cost basis of $61.51. The current value of my portfolio is approximately $31,700, with a total unrealized gain of about $11,600, representing a 58% return. For comparison, last month's return was 57% with paper gains of $11,500. For more details, you can always check out our September 2025 TQQQ update video. I have not sold any shares and have no plans to, unless I see unmistakable signals pointing to an imminent market crash. If you want to learn more about those specific signals, please check out my videos titled 10-year minus 3-month spread, recession indicator, and how to predict the stock market. The long-term strategy for this challenge remains unchanged. Invest $360,000 over 30-plus years and aim for multi-million-dollar growth. For the full explanation, watch my video Cash vs. SPY vs. QQQ vs. QLD vs. TQQQ, 30-year showdown. On a side note for the website, TQQQchallenge.com, I have made some changes. I have closed the investment simulation game due to low traffic. Instead, I have added new features I think you'll enjoy, including daily motivation, stock market news, stock charts, and a fun TQQQ Tetris game. My entire approach is guided by 4 simple principles. First, monthly investing, consistently putting $1,000 into TQQQ each month. Second, enhanced dollar cost averaging, or EDCA. This means buying more aggressively during downturns and less during peaks. Third, sell before crashes. I will only exit my positions when major market crash signals emerge, with the full intention of buying back in at much lower prices. And fourth, no margin. I am avoiding all debt to remain financially secure and minimize risk. The market is moving rapidly, driven by relentless innovation and the explosive growth in AI. Our mission is to stay focused, remain disciplined, and stay committed to our long-term strategy. Thank you for watching this month's update. If you found this analysis helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support brings incredible energy and purpose to this challenge. Until next time, take care, stay focused, and happy investing.